Hello everyone, this is the Ninja DC, joining again from the React video, this time for Star vs. The Force of Evil, Season 4, Episodes 9 and 10. We're almost halfway through the last season of Star.
Oh no! Don't tell me about the mortality of a series. It's like already halfway done. God.
That made me more depressed than I wanted to. But join me again in this joyous suffering is Carlos.
There's this good little gator here, and don't worry, these are real tears. These are not crocodile tears. Because it's so sad. First was Voltron, and then Valdez was Star, and then the next would be ponies. It's too much loss. I need the lost meme now. Someone can fetch me a lost meme. So yeah.
Right. Next up, Daylover.
Hello everyone, Daylover here. I don't know what song was new. I'm just like, we also have new series coming out and new stuff coming out, so good things to look forward to as well.
Yeah, definitely for sure about new series. Like I finally caught a glimpse of like a spring anime for this year, and it's like I think I've seen the craziest Japan has to offer, and it's even more crazier than JoJo.
Which one is it?
Nice.
Sarah Zymon.
Yeah.
Which is?
It's about three like middle school boys enraging a Kappa prince and do weird so how circumstances become Kappas via inappropriate things that were shown in my eyeballs.
Kappas still do what they do in the original Japanese legend.
I think so. Like our comments mentioned about something about like the David Lynch of anime was the penman, was the guy behind this one.
Yeah.
And it kind of shows because like it just gives, and that's not even the craziest thing. There's like even like incredibly crazy cross dressing, like guys trying to break into cars and like ghosts and like Kappa spirits and like just I don't even know anymore.
No.
I don't even know anymore.
It reminds me a little bit of Chromatic High School, but yeah.
Ironically is that the Ludo is actually based off of like a Kappa.
Oh my! Yeah, yes, he is. Yeah, yes, he has the beak. He has the balding spot, which doesn't hold water, but yeah.
Yeah, I've been just watching, like I mentioned beforehand, the wholesome spring anime for me is Fruits Baskets, the remake.
I still have yet to see that, but I know about all the heavy recommendations about it.
Well, there are only 2 episodes of the new one, and the first one is basically like someone said, a more or less shot-for-shot recreation of episode 1 of the original. The second one's we're starting to get the pace where I can tell they're going to speed it up because they're trying to get all the initially shown stuff, but also they're going to complete the manga. So like Brotherhood, they're going to be working like at double speed.
So basically, the first 13 episodes are literally going to be a speed up version of the original. Then they're going to slow it down for the new content. Got it.
Yeah, I think they're not, because the pacing is actually doesn't feel rushed. It just feels like they're probably cutting out a little bit of the dragginess of like some of the episodes. You know, like a slice of life series can be a little slower paced. Here, it's just a little bit more. There's no like downtime. They're quickly going through stuff. So like I think the first one got through. First episode was like shot for shot recreation. Second episode got through like 1.5-ish, 1.8-ish episodes. So that seems to be what they're going for.
All right.
Second.
And then second.
Hi there, I'm the Second Opinion, and 2019 killed Princess Star. 2019 killed the Princess Star. New Year came and broke your heart, took it off the air for good. Oh. And now we meet in an abandoned hangout chat, and we look back and wonder what happened to that. Oh. She was the first one. Oh. This is the last one. 2019 killed the Princess Star. 2019 killed the Princess Star. You know what? Maybe I need to try another one. Oh,
This
say does that star butter fly yet? No, it doesn't.
Oh my god.
Because this is the last season and the episodes are running out.
We still
Hey,
have a lot
Delaware.
of fun.
Hey, Delaware, do you
Starlight,
know what was
star
that?
bright, star butterfly tonight. Starlight, star bright, it's done.
No, it's not.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star. How I wonder why. Okay, I'm not actually that sad. I just like milking this.
All right. With that said, are y'all ready to move on to the next 2 episodes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do it.
All right. Giving those episodes up. Everyone press play in 3. Is everyone ready?
Yes.
Yeah.
Press. Whoa. Go
Who
back.
started?
Wait. We can
Hey,
hear.
who's jumping the gun?
Okay, I got that.
All right. Is everyone back at 0 and ready to go?
Yes.
All right.
I'm ready when you are.
Carlos,
I'm ready. I'm ready.
press play in 3, 2, 1, play.
Yay.
Do, 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 do.
Come on now, you don't mind joining I am from around here.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
fucking rainbows. I'm fucking puppies.
Have you ever wondered
It's gonna
like
get
how
a
they
little weird. Gonna get a little wild. I ain't from
I am
around
from
here.
around here.
I'm from
I'm from
another
another
dimension. So now to pick
I
up with the depressing romance broken off plot.
Oh yeah.
Unless we're just skipping about it. Well,
Okay, Cyclops.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Oh my god, is this the alternate dimension star butterfly?
Maybe.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Oh what? Oh, it's Ludo. Okay.
well, it's about time we heard from Ludo again.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm.
This is just so. Yeah. I just like the fact that they canonize the alternate dimensions that like the Tumblr people written for Star Butterfly.
Oh, poor Ludo.
Oh my god!
So
wait, is this like an alternate Ludo that we're dealing with?
Maybe.
This is.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Ludo just acknowledged that that's a step backwards for him if this is the same Ludo.
Yeah. Oh my god.
But he was after a wand though. So.
Yeah. This is literally like repeating everything of season 2.
Okay.
Oh, and here's the joke. This is not his Dennis. You're chopped in another word line, Ludo. Oh god.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, Dennis. So tell me you just jumped into different dimensions and get all the Ludos.
Oh wow.
Because seriously. That's nice. It's so beautiful, Dennis. Wow.
What?
That's...
No.
I want to remake your past.
Sounds like a good idea.
Mm,
How do I get the feeling that this isn't going to be easy if it works out at all?
It might even relapse him afterwards.
Okay.
Come on.
Remember the good old times, people. Wand stealing was the plot for the show before it suddenly got all political about historical revisionism.
Okay.
Mm.
Can we not make this episode a giant excuse to pull Ludo backwards?
No.
Mm.
Oh my god, the
There's
throne
a throne. Yeah.
with the pillows. Have a sit, Ludo. Let the power
Oh,
conduct
no.
you.
Little bro, you're not helping right now.
No, Ludo, don't do it.
Okay. I thought the... So, okay, the little bro who was supposed to be the way forward is inadvertently becoming his regression drug.
Hey, the old dudes back together. Except for
Okay.
Bullfrog. Except for Bullfrog, but still.
What are this chicken with cross eyes?
Oh god. This is easily regression. Iron Maiden.
Mm.
Oh, Ludo, no. Oh, so much temptation. Can you
Why
resist it?
were Ludo's henchmen always different monsters?
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah,
Like
question.
they'd always been there?
Yeah, they've always been there. They've always been like this. The only one that's not there really is like lobster claws.
Yeah, lobster claws.
But then again, in his episode, really didn't.
Well, pretty much.
Oh, if you do that, like that would be not good for your profile, Ludo. Like really, your reputation, even if it's rock bottom, it'll automatically become negative in the sense of like people will be after you. Or cheer for you for usurping over Meteora, mother. Yeah, so.
Yeah. Well, like you're putting him in an environment where he's like reverting back, so.
Okay.
That's a little weird.
Whoa, a rat?
Okay, right, yeah.
What? Oh my god, Dennis!
Oh no.
Why did you do it without glasses? Oh, Dennis.
Oh wow.
Wait. Oh my god! Castle Labyrinth. Oh.
Wow.
Ludo hates rats.
Oh, after the ones from last season.
Yeah, rats are
Yeah.
definitely.
Oh.
That was like so heartbreaking.
Well, you put him in the environment to revert back. What did you expect?
Dennis, you did not help anything even a little bit.
Seriously. Time to go down. Helmet!
Oh no.
Yes!
Mm.
Let's go.
Mm.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Okay. Nasty.
Yes! Yes!
All
Oh
brothers and
my god!
sisters. What is this?
Yo! Look at all of them. They're just so pretty.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes! That is how you do death in a kids show. Thank you. Thank you, Ludo. Showing us even bad guys can have a good day and everyone can be
Oh,
happy.
that's so sweet.
What? Oh my
Well.
god! Okay. Now
Oh,
that's rather
so
revealing.
sweet.
That's rather revealing now, isn't it?
Yeah,
Ludo's not the forces
yeah.
of evil after all.
Maybe they did progress Ludo in a positive direction.
Ah, Queen.
Have him take a little pride in what he is.
Are we just going to go into the next episode without anything, right?
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's all in
Good, good, good,
video
good, good.
file.
Yeah. Yay.
Wait, Dave Lover, did you pause it or?
Well, like it's on the Queen and stuff. Oh,
So wait, did you pause it or?
no.
Okay,
All right,
so
so
are
it's
you at 12:06, 7, 8,
Yes,
9?
yes, yes.
Okay.
all right. I
Yeah.
just want to make sure. All right.
Mm-hmm. We must make rules for our lawless land.
Yay.
And the first step is laundry schedules.
What did
Well,
she say?
that's true. And it's important with laundry schedules.
They all want Moon to be in charge again.
Mm. Mm.
Mm.
What? These small world problems.
Mm.
Yeah, that's not going to be healthy for her. Oh, what is that?
Mm. Just this once, never say it.
Mm.
Gateway drug.
Honestly, it's more better than I expected it to be from him.
Mm.
It's better than I could do.
Mm. Yeah.
No problem, man. And
Yeah. Mm. Yeah. What? Do you want doorknobs or a caterpillar or what is that? Mm.
This is really starting to be like Civilization 5 now. The merchants all randomly coming in with like these amazing deals for like your uprising empire. And it's just all the conveniences you can ever want.
Mm. Excuse me, princess. Oh,
That's not lying.
yeah, that's true.
Well,
Mm. Oh, wow. Looks terrible.
Queen Moon hasn't gotten around to any of this with her experience as a queen.
Mm.
Or Queen Eclipsa, rather.
Yeah.
She's the queen now, but
She should have rebuilt both castles, not only her own.
I mean, it's like, if they were already here, though, how could they be exiled here? And if they weren't exiled, if this is where they already were, then why is Eclipsa just letting it go to...
Ooh, armor and stuff. Diary.
Oh.
Oh,
haunting? No, probably not.
Hey, look!
Wow,
It's
those are some
pictures of
long-lasting
Queen.
torches. There's somebody living here.
I think that's
I
what's
think
implying.
somebody is living here, yeah.
Getting...
Dang.
Looking back on all of
that's so
her
cute.
ancestors that were not Eclipse's descendants, but still royalty.
Oh, what is this? Hello? No.
Bird!
Yeah.
Nevermore! Yada yada.
Yep.
Wow. It's the ghost of a curtain.
A crow that crowed on the ghost. Woo. Yeah. That's scary.
Not you.
But why is she a ghost all of a sudden? Left the blasting behind.
And Eclipse's mom.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's really nice of her, though.
Mm.
Well, Wow. Okay.
I just thought I love Barry and
First order, throw yourself off a cliff.
No. First order love monsters. Oh.
Oh, really? Are you trying to give development to one of my least favorite characters in the entire series? You can't do this to me, Star. You can't do this to me at all.
But they're
Sebastian.
not enemies anymore. The monsters are not enemies anymore.
As much as I want to beat down on this, there are some people who are that stubborn and that you're either with me or you're against me.
Yeah.
Is he doing Big Eyes portraits now?
Oh wow, yeah. And that's creepy. Creepy. Yeah.
Yeah. This is really gonna be something.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow, okay.
Well, this just keeps being complex.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go grab some coffee. I'll be back in a second.
Alright. So how about that, everybody? That was something, alright.
Yeah. That's good though.
Yeah.
I think like it's really getting interesting with the stuff.
I mean, I do kind of hate Mina as a rule because she's stubbornly a numbskull, but where's that coming from?
I think it's from Gator.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry about like the outside. Like I'm just like currently like trying to like keep up this outside.
Mm-hmm.
There's
Oh.
a reaction on the outside. Who knew? But
Yeah.
but like yeah, this these episodes have certainly have left you with like questions about like is the morality of the character switching because of like certain aspects. Like for Moon, it's like she's now becoming less good and more neutral right now, which is like,
Yeah.
and Ludo is just all around becoming like that chaotic good character.
I
Yeah.
don't necessarily see a.
Chaotic neutral because self interest, but with more fancy to family than such for good
Yeah,
things.
I mean, I don't necessarily see a change in principles as a change in alignment per se. Like Moon, I mean, she's come a long way from the monster not liking Queen is your duty, serve it at all times, and yeah, over to oh, okay, I have to accept that these are complex times and complex scenarios, and I have to decide what I want my role to be as much as I do what it should be.
Yeah.
As much as I what it should be, and I mean, like, this is interesting. She doesn't trust Eclipsa, but she does respect that there's nothing invalid about Star's decision to put her in charge. And I mean, yeah. She also accepts that this is now the role she's chosen for herself, and that she is neither required nor technically allowed to try to, like, the standards she lives by. They say that she's not supposed to try to crowbar her way back into power, and so she's her solution is not to go full on regression and like, no, this is I've had the right way of doing things, and these guys are my responsibility at all times. But she's at the same time kind of sticking to the practices and the expectations, quote unquote. Like, okay, if this is her lot in life, then that also means Eclipsa, she gets to make the decisions, but she also has to figure things out with Mina being a thing.
Well, the thing is, actually, I feel. Oh, go ahead, Daylor.
I think it was a little like, actually development for her to let Mina just go and be herself for this time around.
Well, the thing is, I felt this is an interesting contrast. Like, I never really thought about this, but like until rewatching discussion, it's an interesting contrast between these two episodes because both of them overall focus on two people trying to move beyond their past. Like Ludo trying to get over his wand obsession, and Queen starting to sort of truly let things go. And it's like, okay, I'm not Queen anymore. I'm not but she's trying to get over like that. But sort of like they're inverted where Ludo really should move on from his thing, but this is like where it's like I think the thing is like the Ludo stakes is him moving on is what he should be doing. He is overall trying to do, but Queen trying to move on is sort of the negative thing. So they're sort of flipped in that regards. Where I'm not saying Eclipse like Queen should be Queen. No. I think, but like it's not that she doesn't want to be Queen anymore. It's that she's so like just I'm done, burnt out, no more anything. Period. Which. Put bluntly, there's people that really need help and guidance right now. Even if she's not necessarily a queen or whatever, like there's a lot of very incompetent humans that need sort of help if they don't want to die.
I mean, both of them are kind of like, Ludo and Queen are like, no, I made my choice. I'm sticking to this. I mean, they're trying, like outside forces are trying to pull them back into their own ways, and they ultimately decide, no, not happening. And Ludo, it's a positive thing. The Queen, I guess the direction they're going here is, less so for the Queen, although even for her, though, I can't necessarily say that, like, in and of itself, that, this means trouble, even though they're probably, I'd have to expect they're going to play it like it does, but I mean, it more than anything just highlights that, things right now are really complicated.
Yeah, but we have 2 more episodes, so maybe they'll go further into it.
Yeah. Also, I just want to point out. Go ahead,
you want to talk about complicated, like Star and Marco's relationship tag should be this is complicated.
Well, on the surface, it's less complicated from what they're saying it is, and underneath, I mean, for us, the speculating fans, it's 10 times as complicated because who knows where the heck they're going to go with this.
Yeah. I'm still going to try to animate my version of what I think is going to happen, but whatever. Next.
Sure.
Let me see what I was going to say. One thing I want to point out is like a theory I had with the first episode of this Ludo is I honestly feel that the way I feel they're going to use Ludo in the end is he's going to essentially Star and Co are going to have to team up with Ludo to steal the wand for some reason. And like that's where they sort of go to Ludo, where he has to steal the wand, but it's actually for the forces of good.
He knows the castle like the back of his hand.
Yeah. Not saying Eclipsa necessarily would go evil, but like say someone takes the wand from Eclipsa, or Globular is evil or something, or Eclipsa gets possessed or something like that. Because overall, I feel Eclipsa in her regular state is a good character, an immature character, but a good character. But I could see something corrupting her or something else taking over, sort of thing where they need to steal the wand to stop them. And it's like, if we only knew someone who was very good at stealing the wand. What about someone who's so good at stealing the wand? So I guess with that said, you all ready for the next episode?
Not yet. Not yet. It's still kind of like a bit away and like having this on my phone and such.
Oh,
Yeah.
do you have ETA?
5 minutes.
All right. Well, I'm geeking about Star for another 5 minutes or so. Uh, oh yeah, I think the thing I mentioned on there because I'm here in the people discussing the book of spells, which is like a special book that was released for stars, basically the history, like a diary of like all the queens and all that. That's just it's a spell book, but it's also sort of more the diary section of the spell book, which apparently was like the creators described as season 3.5, where it just has a lot of like background details. One of those details that was brought up, like I think last time I mentioned that Toffee was actually serving someone else. I forget what his name was. It was another.
It started with an S. A Suramon, like the terrible.
Yeah, something like he's a septarian is their species, but like, yeah, he was serving them. That was the detail that was in the book. Another detail was that the Solarian, the Monster Slayer, the one like queen that's like bald and like slicing up monsters and all that. Yeah, apparently that's Eclipse's mother.
Oh, nice.
Oh my god, that makes Eclipse even more of a badass. Think about it. Like, she's literally going against her own mother's like judgment. That's why the whole thing even happened to begin with. Oh my god, that makes so much more sense why history was changed.
Yeah.
So insane, so insane. Mother Dearest is like, I'm not letting this atrocity happen to our family. I'd much rather let some peasant family like take over instead of.
Well, the thing is, it's implied that her mother died at some point. It's like that's the thing is like I don't know if like did Eclipse necessarily kill her mother at some point or
Maybe.
like or Globgor killed her mother and like but she was like yeah my mother sort of deserved that.
Oh my god. You're talking about Game of Thrones up in here.
Yeah.
Well, they were mentioning marriage and betrayal in this episode.
Ooh. Yeah,
and then they ended with black crows flying over, which like Game of Thrones saying is black wings bring black tidings because the messenger crows.
Oh my god, and you think it would be an intentional reference to Game of Thrones because look how popular it is. Just think about it.
maybe.
Speaking of which, though, Game of Thrones is actually this coming Sunday. It's coming back. It's like, oh gosh, I'm curious. Like, I'm curious what the ratings are going to be, but like, yeah, for the next 6, probably 7 weeks, because I guarantee, especially before the last episode, the second to last. Actually, let me go look at the calendar because I think Memorial Day lines up with 1. Sorry, 14th is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Where are you going, Gator? Oh, okay.
What? Where
are you going?
When's Memorial Day this year?
What?
Isn't it like May 19th?
Yeah.
And that would be the final that would be the final week of that would be a Sunday though. Memorial Day is like a Monday though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a Monday. Monday, the like March, like May 27th. It says.
Oh yeah, 27th. Oh yeah. Then I was gonna say they might use that as an excuse to like sort of take a week off, but yeah. Otherwise, I guarantee they're gonna like the last episode or second last. They're gonna take like a week off. Be like, oh, here's whatever excuse they use just to sort of drag it out. But yeah, for the next 6 or 7 weeks, Game of Thrones is going to dominate everything, like even more than Avengers Endgame.
I do agree, totally.
Imagine if the hype actually affects me.
Yeah, hype.
Head into a dark, empty room.
Well, there's one thing that's going to be guaranteed: both are going to have probably dead Starks.
Yay!
So much for Tony. It's so much for the family.
Now, honestly, I would not be surprised if like Tony does die in this one, just because this is supposed to be the end of a certain phase of Star Wars, and his contracts ended and extremely expensive for Disney. So I wouldn't be surprised if he gets hand soloed, where they're like, "Yeah, you're so expensive. I mean, no, you don't really like the role anymore, so you're dead now."
Yeah. Honestly,
Yeah.
story-wise, though, I think I could see them getting more, emotion, more of a relevant conclusion, and more of a satisfying one if it's Captain America who bites it.
Yeah. I think
Yeah,
so
but the thing
too.
is,
People
thing
these
is,
days
Captain
run
America.
with them.
We're going to Reactor. We're going to talk about Avengers now.
Yeah, well, the thing is, like, Captain America is cheaper. That's just like the sad reality. Because Tony Stark costs him like I forget how much. It's like literally like he sends multi-year contracts, but like they're like
they're going to kill everybody else and keep him. Let's just move on. That was pretty dark. I'm sorry.
But the main thing I was bringing up, they might get rid of him actually, is even though he's a beloved character, he's expensive. But they also now with the Fox merger, they're getting their egg team back, aka the mutants. No
But
more.
they're not planning to use them for a while.
Maybe.
Story-wise, though, I can see that kind of being a potential. Like, we have the MCU for long enough, and then the next phase is like, all right, this superhero thing has gone so far that now there are new ones being born every day. This world is going through changes it is not ready for. This needs to be reined in.
But I think it's going to be like Loki is going to come back from the dead again, and then he will have like a complete copy of the gauntlet that we saw a copy of that were in the dwarves area, and they're going to collect the stones again, and then they're going to reset everything, and we're going to be happy, and then it's going to end. Moving on.
We all figured that much. Why are you so obsessed to rush us past this thing we're talking about, you?
I don't react.
Carlos has to finish loading his video, didn't you hear?
Oh, no, I didn't hear that. I'm sorry. Nah.
That aside, though.
Don't you like my plot, my endgame plot?
I think that much is what pretty much everyone is counting on here.
What? No, I don't think like everybody is counting on that, what I just said. I think like that's a little bit too out there.
I'll kill everyone and keep Tony Stark.
Yeah.
Yeah, that part maybe not.
Just be like, it was all a dream, or it was all something like the Soul Stone was doing to you, or it was not the real Infinity Gauntlet, because the real Infinity Gauntlet was at the Dwarf Station, and the real Infinity Stones is in you guys, or something stupid like that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't think there's any circumstances where it would go that stupid.
No. Yeah, well, we'll see. If I call it out, I'm going to be like, what? I still feel like
how much did you pay them to let you do that?
I didn't do anything. I still feel like it's going to be Loki that comes back and sacrifices himself again, and this time he's going to be dead for real.
At this point, they'd have to see him burst apart with blood everywhere or something like that.
Yeah, but I think like they're ready for doing that. Actually.
Yeah, that's like fine. I would not be surprised if I would not be surprised if Loki does actually come back. Even though like his death was actually, I felt the only genuine one where I was like, oh, I actually feel this, because when everyone else died at Endgame, I was like, oh yeah, they disappeared. It's not like they're going to return. Most of them are going to return in the next one, but Loki's the only one.
Good.
I said Loki's the only one that felt like, oh my, they're actually killing him off. That's actually important. And Kratos was not amused.
No.
Still, though, the people, it is getting really old really fast. Oh, heck. we're way past the point where it was really old really fast, but people thinking they're clever for knowing that all the other heroes are going to be back. It's like, okay, yeah, we knew that the second they disappeared.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I
Okay.
said.
That, so.
These movies
Those-
never, I mean,
those
these
bad.
movies never end with the bad guys
Oh.
just winning. That's,
Oh, what if they take, like, they make the characters come back that died from last one, but the characters that survived from last time is going to die instead?
Well, that's a classic movie trope. Like
Yeah.
the infinite people like dying like at the beginning, like that course will be reversed in order to bring back some normalcy to like a society.
Yeah.
But like the one heroes that are intimate to like to the plot, they will be risking their actual lives even after surviving like an apocalyptic event.
Yeah.
All right, but I guess are y'all ready for the next episode of Star?
Yeah.
Yay.
ready?
All right, Aaron, get ready. All right, press play in 3. All right, is everyone ready for the episode?
Yeah.
Ready.
Press play in 3, 2. What? Well,
No.
rewind.
Who
Sorry.
who doesn't have their headphones in?
Sorry.
Mm.
Okay, got it.
All right, Aaron, press play in 3, 2, 1, play.
Yeah.
Boom.
Get a little bit. Get a little bit.
Coming from around here. I'm from another dimension. Gonna get a little weird. Gonna have a good time. I am from around here. I'm from another. Woohoo!
Yeah.
Yeah. We're
Rainbows.
talking rainbow. We're talking therapy. If you get
Yeah.
I hope we're not all off. Oh, Buff Frog returns.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
especially after that Ludo episode, we need some ball to equalize everything.
Oh, nice. Equestria Games! Yay!
Wait, yay! For the Equestria Games reference, nah. Aw, getting really close to his sighty whiteys, are you?
That's
Oh
all
my
we need. So where are his babies?
Maybe at home?
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, this is gonna be
Oh, really?
controversial as all heck.
Mm-hmm.
This is literally like the Jackie Robinson era of baseball right here.
Mm.
Imagine if like both of them had different versions of like cornball, and like their effects are gonna be shown here in the worst possible way.
Yeah.
Start looking around like.
Mm-hmm.
My food. Not my food.
Aw. Not do the size.
You almost forget that Buff Frog used to be Ludo's right-hand man on the bad guy team.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. I mean, like since like he left, like literally like in the middle of at the end point of
Oh.
season 1. And
Kid's growing up.
Children.
look at them, they becoming little buff frogs. Oh,
Aw.
he's become normal. What? That's Katrina?
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah.
Okay, his species is certainly quite the ambitious one.
Mm. Yay.
Oh, and the Shelley with Marco.
Okay. Well, aren't the speakers supposed to not be right next to your ears?
Or maybe.
Or what, she's just screaming that loud?
Yeah.
Mm.
Ooh. Oh.
Okay.
Is that a fox or a cat? The twin synchronized swimmers. Ooh.
Okay. New characters as well.
Ooh. Oh no. This is gonna cause some issues.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah.
And it's like Marcos tried to not subtly hint like, I'm officially open now for a relationship. That's just, like,
Just how
like,
did... Okay, so how did Marco get to be the co-announcer, though?
yeah.
By being a breakup buddy.
Why is he going out of the room? Didn't he want to be with her?
So, okay, the teams that everyone wants to see are randomly picked right before the game starts.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, this is what's gonna... and guess what's gonna happen next?
History.
All humans are going to be picked last. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I want to say, like, I really like the new monster designs this season.
Yeah, they're super
they're
cute.
cool.
They're super cute. I mean, seriously. It's like, then again, it's like, it's kind of like, then again, it's like it really like appeals to like the furry crowd, like this season a lot. Oh no, Meteora is on the loose. Two nice little black rats. Yay! Excellent example.
So is this gonna be one of those total disasters except for that one thing that works?
Yeah, just for ponies.
Yeah. That's true. Oh, shut it.
Oh no, I knew it.
Oh, yeah, the fans.
Oh. Oh. Oh, that's the most chemistry I've seen out of their relationship yet.
No, they have been kissing before, though.
No, but it didn't feel like much anything.
Oh, that's true.
Oh, it's time for the young to inherit the earth with their non-bias.
This might be an accurate depiction of how generational values change.
Absolutely.
A little bit, yeah.
Oh my god, not the bubbling.
What are you doing? Why, though? Yeah. No.
And this sporting event made me forget the fact that one of my children's missing.
Wow, they still haven't split all the way apart.
They're playing together, yeah.
Oh my god, they're so cute! We're actually getting cute art for the humans and monster designs. It's like, Yes, Marco! Switch over! Do it! And the adults now see the first step of human monster relations actually get good. Oh my god! Some of my fashion designs. Why is everything so beautiful now? Emotionally and aesthetically right now because it's just too good! Yo! Oh, wow!
What, really?
Oh my god! And go, Katrina! It's time. Oh! Wow! They actually ended it!
Hmm.
That's literally man, that's actually subverting all the expectations about sporting events, actually. Thank you, Star Versus.
Oh,
Dang it.
If people get offended by anything that is depressingly relevant.
Absolutely relevant in our society.
yeah. Oh,
Aww.
yeah.
Except for those background two behind you.
Yeah, but then again, it's to show the realism.
Our generation is garbage.
Wait. You mean our actual generation? Or
No, I mean like Buff Frog was like, our generation is garbage. But the future.
This is an interesting pair up.
Yeah.
What sort of insanity will the two craziest characters of their own species do?
Oh, yeah.
Yes! Demon baby! Aww. Oh my god, you're babysitting
Queen.
Meteora.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Oh.
so who's more evil to the core? Meteora or
That's
Oh,
funny joke. Haven't seen that since baby
Popper?
cakes.
The true evil monster appears.
yeah.
Who had his voice actor changed. But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Aww. Mm-hmm. Lessons? Oh my god.
No, that's not a good idea, Glossaric.
Or maybe it's the best idea. Maybe that's how they actually ended the series. Think about it. Oh my
Oh,
Oh gosh. Meteora's been adorable.
yes. And the fact that we've known her since the very beginning of season 1. It's like
Baby stay out. Jenna.
Jenna reflecting on the current masses.
mm-hmm.
Oh man, it's the time world.
Hmm. Yeah. This is weird.
Meteora, though, is suddenly relevant in this.
Yeah.
In another show, he's just the most annoying character.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Or most hated character, give or take.
Okay.
Oh, hello, draft person. Second draft person we ever met in the series. So weird, like the giraffe wearing a toga. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Goat? Oh, both. Mm-hmm.
Do the writers know what that's a double entendre for?
Yeah, probably.
Mm-hmm. You gotta put in all those immature jokes as early as possible for your kiddies to not get it until they're old enough.
Yeah, Meteora has already been sucking on Glossary and doing it again.
Yeah!
Yay! Mm-hmm. A giraffe.
Oh, so giraffes are horses now? This is new information.
Oh.
What?
Dad?
And that just got a lot more depressing.
Yeah.
If that's actually his son, then oh my god, Glossaric, what the hell is the matter with you? The wah, wah, wah. Oh, pilgrims! Oh god! Oh god!
Oh, what?
Pulling it out of her butt. Yeah, corn is the most important thing in that.
Oh.
Yay!
Unicorn.
Brand new unicorn.
Wand unicorn. Oh, so this is how the wand got created?
Yeah,
Yep.
probably.
Oh my god, don't tell me that's the actual butterfly. That's like Glossaric just helping with the time stream, making sure like events go as play to like this current reality. Yeah, you mean it's stop day! It's stop day! Stop day! Stop day! One of the best holiday specials I've ever seen, and also one of the most mortifying ones I've ever seen. Ronaldo. Okay, now I think Ronaldo's suddenly one of my new favorite side characters ever. Just because. Oh my god! What is it? Oh, the Centurions!
Ludo.
Yes!
Ludo.
Yes, Tommy! It's Tommy with a full head of hair!
Ooh, Toffees.
Oh my god! Toffee! That's bad boy.
Uh-huh. Wow, yeah, okay.
Stupid leaf has to snap your arm.
And here we go.
And encouraging Meteora to fight.
Mm.
It's time to
Dip down.
dig down. Monster and human magic combine together to form the apocalypse. Oh god!
Okay, so it's actually her magic that.
And influencing the war. Yeah, of course. Things have to play out the way they do.
Mm,
You died.
okay.
That's what she's doing on her phone.
Mm-hmm. Doing some sort of mobile version of like Dark Souls. Not even hiding. Deep down.
Aw.
No, it's not that. Oh, Glosser. Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, Glosser.
So
Like
broken
I would not be surprised at all if Glossric is a villain at the end, and I would honestly sort of like that.
If it becomes that, then we can all cheer for like one unlikable character that we did like on the good side actually being the main baddie. It's like we finally got vindication for hatred. But
Well, I mean, I don't know. Glossaric, I mean, I think he's made us go back and forth on liking him or not.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, like he even said that Toffee a while ago, he doesn't have a side. He's just sort of true neutral. Like he has people
Yeah,
he's
I mean,
trying
we
to
all
teach.
remember that. Yeah.
He has people he's trying to teach, and he'll actually generally help them in what ways he can. But like those he's trying to teach aren't necessarily good. This is sort of thing.
He's on the side of magic and preserving it. It almost seems like.
Mm-hmm. Like advancing, like even like the most chaotic hybrid magic that Meteora possesses for sure.
Which actually brings up a question I had because I feel the way this series is going, I don't think Eclipsa will be queen at the end of it.
Oh,
but
definitely.
I don't think
but
either. Yeah.
But at the same time, the way they're setting up Meteora, I would not be surprised if Meteora is not out of line in the throne, if that makes sense.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I think like that's what I was saying earlier. Like I feel like they're setting up Meteora to be like the queen at the end of the series with like Glosser like teaching her, and like even do like a climactic like showdown. Like it's just gonna be like Meteora becomes queen of the Muni that's like full of monsters and monsters and humans, but the queen is just like but Moon is gonna be like a queen of like the new human population.
Well, the thing is, I don't think Queen will also be queen at the end either. Or sort of, I don't know what role they have for her yet, but she's going to be involved in some way. The one thing I was thinking is Star basically becomes Queen Regent until Meteora comes of age or something like that. Is like how eventually it ends. Because the way they're setting it up is the next generation, like not Star's generation, but the one after that, is the one that's going to be like humans and monsters living relatively peacefully together and all that. And like Meteora is like the best example of that. And also the way they're setting up Meteora now is like she doesn't like Marco still, but that seems more instinct. Otherwise, she seems to be a pretty good child. Like, so she would possibly be very good, like queen setup, especially if she's raised right. But Eclipsa is too. Even though I feel her heart's in the right place, I feel she's too.
Honestly, we haven't seen what she's made of either way on this. Like,
no, I feel like overall she's sympathetic, and I feel she's not evil or stuff like that. But she is, I feel, self-centered or she's not responsible enough to be queen, I guess is a good way to summarize it.
I mean, from what they've made her do, there's certainly room for them to take it that way, but we really just haven't seen like what she's made of there in any respect.
No.
I mean, there's just all the way around, they almost plain and simply have some development to do.
Yeah, but good episodes still.
Mm-hmm.
I really like the first one that like shows how it can be with the humans and monsters together.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the thing with Meteora and Glossaric is a little bit off to me, or how to say that.
Oh, I thought it was sort of a cute, like baby's great adventure
like,
sort of a thing.
Yeah, I guess it's like the way it's have to be, yeah. And especially like I like that the unicorn is small baby like.
That reminds me of a theory I'm hearing online with this episode is that those first pilgrims, they look surprisingly human, like possibly a lost colony. That sort of fell into Muni, which is like that's sort of a theory is that.
Oh no! What are you doing here?
But the idea is like, at least the theory I'm not saying, proposed thing is they sort of fell through on Earth like one of the portals to the magic realm, and like they passed through the magic realm, which when they came out, their memory is like shot because of that. Because magic distorts memory, so they won't remember being on Earth or anything like that. Or first pilgrims like the Lost Roanoke colony that happened where everyone just disappeared. The theory is like that is actually the first humans, which would align with their dress, and their attire. Then like they just lost their memories, and then they're here. The whole idea is like magic plus humans equal humans.
There you go. Wow, maybe we should turn into this magical dimension. No, I, Peter Pan, called dibs on that one. Oh, well, I guess we'll just turn into this one then.
But I like the way that Toffee looks.
Oh yeah, mullet Toffee.
That's funny.
Though I really hope this isn't the last we see of Toffee, even if it's like another flashback later, just because.
I don't think so, no.
Well, I mean, at very least, if we're building up to this Seth guy, they have to mention Toffee.
Yeah. And they have to get Dopgar out at some point.
Yeah, that too. Although, then again, they're really not building up to another outside antagonist, or at least they don't appear to be, so...
No, they have a
probably
way of...
gotta have something to do with Globgor.
Yeah.
Whatever the big final direction is here.
They have a way to make twists and everything like that, so... Okay.
I guess any other thoughts on this episode? Oh, these episodes.
Yeah. Honestly, this is one of those. This is like the rare Star episodes where I can't say that anything was particularly off, particularly clunky, but I just don't say they're great ones. Like usually Star either has its finger on the pulse of what it wants to do or it doesn't, and it's either great or not for that. And here, honestly, It's just
I
like
think the thing is for these, I feel these are setup episodes. So like all four of them, like the Ludo, like I think we've already established the Ludo and the Queen thing. That seems to be sort of reflecting how they're trying to lay their passes. So it's setting up whatever they're going to do later. And then the Cornball one was more about setting up the future generations and all that. But that's just more of a fun, lighthearted episode. That's a moral-y episode. And then this one I feel is also setting up stuff with the magic dimension. It's just like, I get what you're saying. Like, I feel these are sort of like the in-between episode between something that big that happens. But I feel they are setting up stuff later. So it's not as bad as like some of the earlier episodes in season 2 or stuff like that, where it's just like, why does this episode exist? I feel all these episodes actually do feel like they have a purpose. They're just not the most interesting episodes in that sort of thing.
Definitely for sure. I mean, I'm just thinking about like the cornball one, and it's like it might not be like anything interesting, like except for like the illusion of like the newer generations not having like the biases or the racism of the old generation, but it has the cutest animal. I think the cutest monster design. I can't.
Oh yeah, that
was fun too.
That's actually one thing. That's the one thing I meant to bring out like earlier in the season. This episode just highlighted is like the new monster designs that premiered this season. All that they felt more consistent. Because remember, like back in season 1 and all that, like the monster designs were like as random as Ludo's.
Lobster claw.
Yeah.
And
stuff
the
like,
next second.
Yeah, and like as all like because we actually in the last episode seen all of his old creatures, but now they're more or less like they're basically they all feel like I wouldn't say furries or scalies. Like they feel soft. Is another way to describe like they're in terms of like their overall aesthetic. They all feel like they have a softer demeanor. They're not like all hideous like monstrosities. No, they feel like soft, sort of like if someone gets a plushie of them, I would not be surprised, sort of thing. Where before, it was like all the monsters are either, they're just completely random like monstrosities. Like, let me just look over some of these old things like Manhand, the giant giraffe, like the unicorn bear, the I don't know what the gimp guy with ball with like metal things for hands. It's like, yeah, they're just like sort of random, like sort of designs. Like now, like all the new designs, like even like that one gargoyle, I can't remember his name. Something ball, Rastable or Archibald, the one like servant to the queen. That's like the gargoyle that like always is like helping. Like even like he feels like consistent with like the new. Like overall, the monster designs feel more consistent. Like, and then there are exceptions to that, like the giant monsters that were in that one episode. But like, I feel that they're the exception that proves the norm. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily like that per se. I mean, like with the worlds of any creature, anything is possible. Like the show starting out just like really thriving on what it can create there. I don't. Yeah. Necessarily like when the attitude becomes, all right, that's too much creativity there. We need to rein that in and thrive on demand some mediocrity around here, some pointless tedium of laying out the rules that don't affect anything and such. But I mean, I don't know. It's but it almost where that actually applies would be more to, I'll say, other shows, other things here. It's, I feel like, it's just sort of a detail that as DC has that you can notice if that's something your eye is drawn to. And I mean, otherwise, I don't know if it affects too much.
How was it again? Is the girl with the hair, she half monster? No, right?
Meteora?
No, Macros.
She's another species altogether, isn't she?
Oh, yeah. I'm just like, it could be interesting if we find out in the future, like she's half monster or like third monster.
Well, we've seen what her entire race is last time, didn't we?
Who's half monster?
Kelly.
Oh no, yeah, Kelly. Like we've seen like her race thing.
Oh, okay.
She's the creatures that pay for everything in fights and whatever.
Yeah, the most violent. the most violent Dr. Seuss characters.
Yeah, that's true. I just forgot all about it, I guess. But they're cute together, though.
Didn't Dr. Seuss actually create some characters who need to throw punches at everything, though?
Yeah.
It sounds familiar. The main thing I remember there is like the one where it's like the Cold War book that was like, yeah, let's just threaten to destroy each other at all times and live in bomb shelters. Like I remember that one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm thinking of some like I don't know. I had trouble getting to Sola Salou or something like that with just it's this one of those like
one of the bully
bear
characters.
cub looking bully characters or something like that, or just roughhousers or something like that. But anyway, but yeah, I will say like DC though, he pretty much hit the nail on the head for me. I guess that these episodes are just sort of going off to the side to tell their little stories that are what they are. And I mean, I guess the one like if there's one that can be picked apart a little, it might be the Queen Moon one, just because while it was happening, it didn't do maybe the best job of keeping its eye on the ball on what the point of all of this was. It's okay, first people want Queen Moon to be in charge of stuff again. She decides maybe she can lend a hand. She goes to the castle and we do talk to what's her name for a while to see what can come from her character, and until they're tired of doing that, Queen Moon decides, okay, no, I'm still not going back to this, certainly not with you and your crazy shenanigans. And then all of that just sort of when it's time to land, it decides to land on Queen Moon is going to let Eclipsa take care of her own problems. But
I have a feeling that like Queen decided like, I'm just gonna set back and let whatever happens. I have a very strong feeling that's gonna come back and bite her in the flank like pretty soon, like in some way or another, and not just because something bad happens to Eclipsa or Eclipsa gets kidnapped. I have a feeling it's gonna bite her in another way. She's gonna be like, I just don't know what it is yet.
To the character arc could be like the falling lower and lower, like she starts to take it too far, and then in the finale or some such, she has to like be taught the lesson in some dramatic way. Oh no, I should have fill in the blank, and then she does like, thank you for showing me the way. Whoever shows her the way, probably Star, random character. And let's go with Jenna. Why not? Be a good fill in the blank name. Jenna, thank you for showing me the way. Random choice. Otherwise, though, the Ludo episode, even though it also sort of slice of life, running into this wall and that, like, meandered its way into the solution that was, basically the point of it was a little more strongly focused on, and it was a pretty nice triumph for him. The cornball thing was cute, with Marco and Kelly doing their thing, and the kids, and the humans and monsters thing was a little hammed up, but I mean, that's... yet still one that makes you want to sit and think about the points of comparison there, and I don't know, that might be the best episode insofar as standing on its own. And then the Meteora one, I don't know, I kind of like the Where the Wild Things Are, Baby's Day Out. You like take a trip off into the ethos while you're still young, or ethos is the wrong word. I'm the ethereal. Playing ethos is pathos, logos, and ethos. But no, take a trip off into the ethereal plane of see life's wonders while you're still young and can still be innocent enough to have that be your life experience. So yeah, that was fine as well. And like all these episodes, even the Queen Moon one to an extent, they're fine. They were fun. stop hogging the spotlight now. I said I'll stop hogging the spotlight now.
This definitely was like these two episodes. Like I really appreciate like the first like seeing like all these such was quite like seeing like Dennis's like screw ups, and eventually like Lee's negative qualities actually being a positive for him for a change after like a bit of a relapse. Definitely for like the one I didn't like the least was probably the moon one, if only just because like it's kind of obvious what Dr. Line is heading towards, like for like moon to essentially gain back into like power, but also had the unfortunate side effect of introducing us back to like the worst Mumi character.
Well, I can accept her as serving the purpose they had her serving, at least.
Yeah, they like how King. I do like how King Moon's like. It's like, was it a curse or a ghost? It's like it was Mina. It was worse.
Absolutely worse. But I guess then like aside from like my fan gushing for like the cornball episode, was certainly like quite the nice little like time travel diversion in which like look, we're gonna teach you some stuff here in Glossary's Magic School Bus portal. So come on, let's go along and learn about all these interesting factoids about the different origins of like the Munis, about the Septorians, and even learning a little bit more about what you are and what you can provide to the magic pool there, Meteora. And Meteora is just like the cutest baby ever, despite being also the most terrifying baby ever. It's like no one would want to like babysit her at all if they weren't like focused on like a game at the time.
I am heinous, as she should have been.
But yeah, I feel like it's sort of interesting how they both show Meteor both as like sort of terrifying little demon creature, but at the same time they show her as being cute at times. So I guess she is a baby. Dun, 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 dun,
Well, they probably want to do something important with her, like, because this episode, come to think of it, does have shades of, all right, we better get the audience to like her if we're going to expect her to carry this important thing.
Yeah, I feel like I said before, I feel like she is sort of representation of like the future generation self-fix thing sort of thing. So it's like, because overall, like she wasn't really heinous until later in life, and that was basically after decades of emotional abuse and trauma. So it's like, well, she's raised halfway decent. She should be a good queen overall, and like a good representation of monsters and humans living together. Just right now, she's a baby that just hates Marco for random reasons.
And that's the way it is.
So I guess any other thoughts on these episodes before I head out? You take that as
Thank God for Jenna, even though she didn't do much this time around. But I like having her back in the mix.
Yep, Jenna, the maybe half demon now. All right. Well, I guess see y'all next time.
Yay! Bye.
Bye.
So long.